Hey guys, I'm Lazor, Legends Matt. So I said I'll do the Obedient Dead deck list, and I will. I'll do it now. I would record some gameplay now, but I'm uploading to Duels, not my video, I'm uploading Frizzy's video at the moment, so I won't be able to get into a game anyway, and might as well do this now while I've got some free time, which I haven't had as much of recently, and I'll be out quite a lot tomorrow, and yeah, it's kind of catching up on me, but whatever. So I'm almost certain that people aren't going to like my deck list that much. You might do though. You might do. You never know. If you stick around for long enough, and you might actually understand some of them, because immediately I see people are going to be mad at Fume Spitter being out of the deck, and there's quite a lot of other cards that people are going to be mad about. That's the thing about this deck. It's got quite a lot of different options you can run. So, and this is the way that I run it. And most of the decks that I run, I'm going to sound a bit arrogant, I guess is the word. Most decks I run work pretty fucking well, at least for me. So, don't know if it's just me, and I'm just God player. I'm using Game Genies, Game Sharks, whatever. I don't know, action replays. Throw a couple of those cheating mechanics in. Maybe I'm just running that, and every deck I can run possibly would work well. But, and my deck lists absolutely mean nothing in that case, which I really hope it's not. But this is the way I'm going to run it. This is the way I find it's best. This includes all the promos that came out, so if you don't have the promos, Google them. I believe they're like all over the place. There's one on the Wizards community site, there's Top Tier Tactics, there's other places you can go to where you can find your promo codes and get yourself 10 free cards for each deck. Each deck, that's 40 unlocks instead of 30. And what that also means is it'll take fucking forever to go through the deck in some detail, so I won't be going through it in as much detail as I would usually, because I could be here for ages. I did this deck list before, and it was over an hour long, the video, so I felt that that wasn't cool, and I'm doing it again. But that included the other two deck lists as well, or redos of Peacekeepers and fucking Dream Puppets. There you go, which are also on the channel by me. And yeah, okay, we'll get to the, I can hear you screaming at me, alright, we'll get to the deck list. Okay, we'll go to the sideboard first. That's how I do it. Sideboard then main. So Fume Spitter is a great card. I'll say this about like every card in the sideboard and every card in the main deck. Just some cards are greater than others. You have to understand this deck, unlike the last game, there's a lot of cards that are really good. There's more than what, 36 cards, 35 cards that are good, so you need to make sure, so you have to take out all these deck lists with a pinch of salt. You're going to see some cards that you like in the sideboard and see some cards that you might not like in the main deck, because that's how deck lists work. They're a little bit personal. I mean, I don't particularly enjoy watching deck lists, because I'm getting pissed off because I see a card that I really like and I go, how the fuck can you take that card out? And I imagine it's the same for quite a lot of you, so I empathise with that. I empathise. But yeah, Fume Spitter, I pressed A button, he got a little bit happy, he was like, oh my god, back in the deck, and I was like, no, never mind Fume Spitter. But look at him, he's not the best to look at, his art's pretty poor, Nils Ham, I'm pretty disappointed in you. I don't know what else you're supposed to draw on the basis of it's called Fume Spitter, and it's a horror creature, but whatever. When it dies, you can sacrifice it and put a neg 1 counter on target creature. You can sacrifice it any time. It can attack, it can block, so what you'd usually do is you chump block 1 and you put a neg 1 on something else, or you just use it to kill some of the 1-drops like Soul Warden, not Celestial, I always get the name wrong. It's the 1/1, turns into a 6/6 guy. I think I did this in another video as well where I couldn't get the name, but he kills that, so it's pretty good. He does quite a lot of things. It's just for me, it's between that or Crippling Blight, and I completely love Crippling Blight. Crippling Blight's my friend, we'll get to her later, but that card is so good. People don't understand how good that card is. But Fume Spitter, it's a good card. I'm not running it at the moment. I decided there were two other cards that I felt needed to be in the deck more than Fume Spitter did. There we go. Maya's Toil, you get another great card. It's really good for control-y. I am going for a really high control aspect in this deck, but I still couldn't find room for it. It's good. It's one of the few ways for Obedient Dead to get rid of artifacts or enchantments. So you want to take that into mind when you're using Maya's Toil. It's not really. I thought it might just be I don't know. First, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this card's good, but there's not that much discard in the deck, so why would I run it? But then I realised, well, it's more because there isn't any discard in the deck that you maybe should run it. Because the less discard there is, the better this is, right? Because they're going to have more cards in their hand, and therefore it's going to be more effective. Because if there was a lot of discard in this deck, then you could draw this card and they'd have no cards in hand, and therefore it'd be less effective. Hoping that makes sense, but it's a really great card. It is. I like it, but I don't like it enough to put it in the deck. I mean, there's a couple of, like I say, there's going to be a few cards you don't agree with, and a few cards you do agree with. Blister Beetle. This guy comes in and you can either fuck someone's day up, or you can fuck your own day up, or you can stay in your hand dead for the entire game. This is probably one of those cards that nobody should run, but maybe you should, I don't know. It depends how you run your deck. Yet again, I'm going to be really... I want to be controversial, but I kind of don't want to piss off people. Ah, fuck it. Fuck it, whatever. If you don't like the deck, you can build your own. There you go. Blister Beetle, you're probably here watching this video because you don't know how to run the deck, or you're not 100% confident about your own deck anyway. So, yeah. You came here, you came to me. Alright, that was your last chance, buddy. But Blister Beetle, when it comes in, does neg1 counter on target creature until end of turn. I wish it was a permanent counter. If it was a permanent counter, it'd be okay. But even then, it'd still be a 2-cost Fume Spitter. It's okay at combat tricks, but sometimes it just stays in your hand and dies and does nothing, you know? There's quite a few... if I'm not running Fume Spitter, then I'm definitely not running Blister Beetle. There you go. Standing Blood, play 2 life, draw 2 card, great card. I run it in real life. I'm running it in a recent M13 deck that I am building. I haven't finished building it yet because I haven't got my Liliana of the Realms. I'm going to wait for them to maybe be a little bit cheaper, because... I imagine Liliana of the Realms will come down in price pretty heavily, considering it's Dark Realms as well, considering that Mono Black isn't that widely played. So, but Standing Blood is good. You draw 2 cards for 2 life, that's good. But in this deck, I'm going to be taking a lot of hits, so I don't have many blockers out. I do have a lot of kill spells though, and I felt that 2 life in this deck is actually a lot to pay. It's quite a high price. I mean, and its benefit is pretty good, but it's not as beneficial as other cards could be, you know, because every time you put a good card in, you have to take out another good card, so you have to decide which one was better for the situation. And I found that Signing Blood didn't work as effective as the cards that are in this deck. Dread Warlock, a fucking badass picture. I love that picture so much. I'm not sure about the purple flames though, but if I drew it, there wouldn't be purple flames, though. There'd be probably not any flames at all. Maybe some sort. The musk would still be there, but they probably won't be any flames. Kind of like a Witch Doctor, hence the Human Wizard. But he's a 2/2 for 3. Can't be blocked except by black creatures. Yet again, great card. I like him. I like his art, but he's just not good enough, and that's all I've got to say really about him. Last Kiss, probably the worst removal in the entire game. No, in the entire deck. I was about to say in the entire game because it's not. It's a 3-cost instant that deals your to a creature 2 damage, and you gain 2 life. I kind of wish this for the 1 extra that you get, that it could go to the face as well. That they could lose 2 life from their face, and you could gain 2. That'd be really nice. But it's very situational, and there are other 3-cost kill spells that are not situational, and are a lot better than Last Kiss. Murder being the main one, obviously. Liliana Spectre, for what it's worth a lot, as in card value, as in what it does for its mana cost. But in this deck, it's still not enough. There's not much turn 3 anyway. In this deck, I mean, there's 6, but they're mainly murders. But I'd rather keep murder open than play Liliana Spectre in this build anyway. So I found that it didn't particularly gain me much, did Liliana Spectre, and taking it out, I didn't particularly lose anything from the deck, to be honest. So I would definitely run it in 2-headed Giant though, along with this card, Underworld Dreams. It's the best counter mill out there, but unfortunately, if you want to play this deck at its best ability, you can't tailor it just for mill, because mill isn't the strongest deck out there anyway. You can probably beat it with this deck. It's a tough game though, it is a tough matchup for this deck. How many more times am I going to say this deck? I don't know, but it deals 1 damage to him or her every time they draw a card, so it's pretty good, but yet again, it's just not good enough. This guy is never good enough. 3/2 vanilla for 3. There's no zombie cross buffing. I really don't like the art. Not gonna lie. Sorry, Arcade Post, but I just don't like it. The arms are too thin. The body is the hair. I don't know. I just don't like it. Looks like he's got flag posts sticking out the back of him. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to be, but Warpath Ghoul, not particularly my favourite card ever. It's probably one of the worst cards that is available for this deck at the moment. Bloodhunter Bat, 4 cost, 2/2 flyer. When it enters battlefield, target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Now, even if this was a 3 cost variant of this, actually, it feels 3 cost variant, I might consider running it. But I'm not going to, because there are cards that are just so much better than this turn 4. Look, we have 11 4-drops already. Bloodhunter Bat just isn't up to scratch. I mean, there's a Liliana Shade in the sideboard, for fuck's sake. Speaking of her, this card is fucking fantastic. I run 4 in the deck I was on about earlier. Gets +1/+1 until end of turn every time you pay a swamp for the ability cost. And you may search your library for a swamp card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your library. Yet again, really good. There are already 4 in the deck, and that's so there are now 3 and 1 in sideboard. Obvious is obvious. Necrotal. Now this is going to be another of those cards that people are going to get maybe a little bit pissy about, but I just don't find the need for him, you know. I was speaking to Melchris, and me and him both differ on this card. We agree on a lot of cards in this deck, but we differ heavily on this one. He was like, how can you not run it? I'm like, well, it's Befoul but worse. And he was like, no, it's better than Befoul because you get 2/1 first strike. And I go, yeah, but you get 2/1 first strike turn 4. Now, 2/1 first strike turn 4, most of the time, isn't that great, okay? That's what you got to take into play. So, against the decks in this game, what's turn 4? Most of them like 4/4s or better, right? So, and in the mirror matchup, he doesn't do anything. In the mirror matchup, he doesn't kill a creature. He sits there as a 2/1, and in a mirror matchup, what are you going to be blocking? Liliana's Shade? Probably the best thing that you could possibly block with Necrotal in the mirror is Dread Warlock, if they are running it. Fumes Bitter and Blister Beetle if they are running it. Or somebody who's stupidly attacked with Liliana's Shade with no mana available. So in the mirror, it's really bad. However, Befoul, for the same cost in the mirror, can at least go for the lands. Otherwise, they're basically the same. Also, this guy cannot target Artifact. Befoul can. That's another thing. But I just don't like him, personally. You can run him, but I don't think 3 Befouls is needed. If you do run him, maybe take a Befoul out, but I just felt they were better. Incremental Blight is a situational kill card. That's what it is. That's how I describe it. There needs to be 3... Your opponent needs to have 3 creatures down. And if you're playing this deck the way I'm running it, and your opponent has 3 creatures down, you're either playing against... Turn 5 this is, remember. You're either playing against some sort of Ancient Wilds build, a crazy build like the ones I run, where you get a lot of creatures down in one turn, or you've just been holding back for the incremental Blight, in which case it probably hasn't been worth your time. You're probably taking more life than you needed. It is kind of good when sometimes you can draw it and it'll win you the game, straight out. I mean, that's what it can do. But sometimes you can draw it and it'll sit there in your hand for the entire game, doing nothing. I like to think of Cone of Flame, which is a very similar card. I mean, this one does 1 neg1 to one creature, 2 neg1 neg1s to another, and 3 to another. So it has to separate them between 3. It can't put 3 on one, 2 on that same one, and then 1 on another. It can't do that. It's not allowed. But which is why if you have a creature down, which you probably will have Liliana's Shade, by the way, and these are permanent counters, so it will kill your Liliana's Shade. You can't use them until they have 3 creatures on the field. If they have 2, you can't even just decide not to use one of them. You can't cast the spell at all. And I'd rather have a murder, because that kills 1, but it doesn't give me it doesn't mean I have to kill my own sometimes, and and I can cast it whenever. Nested Ghoul, unfortunately in this deck it's not very good. There's not much to say about it. When a source deals damage, Nested Ghoul, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So the only way you could really do this is if you swung in and they had 1/1s down, then it would be beneficial. Okay, so what I'm thinking is Goblin deck. This card is beneficial against the Goblin deck, but then you need to remember its mana cost is 5. If this was a 2/2 for 3, I know that doesn't exist, but if it was, you'd run it all day. You would run this card so often, but it gets killed by 2/2s for 2. It gets killed by shocks for 1 mana, and sure you get a second blocker, but I mean, there's so many better cards turn 5. There are so many better plays turn 5 than Nesting Ghoul. I mean, there are better plays in the sideboard turn 5 than Nesting Ghoul. This guy is just not good. Not good. Flying 2/2 for 5, you may pay 2 mana. One of them has to be a swamp, one can be whatever, but it's going to be a swamp in this deck. Gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Right, so the earliest this guy is going to attack, we'll say without Jet Medallion, right? The earliest this guy is going to attack is turn 6. Alright, so you're going to have 6 mana available, which means you can pump it 3 times. It means turn 6, it can attack as a 5/5 flyer. It can be another thing. It's not guaranteed to attack as a 5/5 flyer. What else do we have turn 6? I mean, we've got quite a lot we can play turn 6. We got Dread, Grave Tank, Massacre Worm, you know, we've got those guys that want to be playing turn 6, so most of the time, it's going to swing in for 2. And then what afterwards? Then, I mean, I'd rather have a Liliana Shade down, I just would, and have a Murder open turn 5, and not having to worry about babysitting that guy. This card's good in some builds. I just can't find room for him in mine, you know. I really like Rise from the Grave, I do. I can't help but not like the card. I mean, put type creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield for 5 mana. It becomes the Black Zombie. I mean, it's a good card, but it's not for me in this deck. There you go. Veilborn Ghoul. Everybody's been hating on this guy, and I don't understand, because it's an okay card. I see where JT was coming from. I was running this guy pre-10. I mean, I was running 2 of them. You know why? Because this guy wrecks fucking quite a lot of decks. Suspiciously. He does suspiciously well. He does cost a lot of mana to maintain, which I did not enjoy. I did not enjoy spending a lot of mana to maintain. But people let him through more often than they should. They go, okay, I'll take 4. I'll take 4, because I know if I trade with my guy, you're going to play your guy second main phase, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'll take 4. I'll take 4. But then the promos came out, and I'd rather fucking destroy them, so Veilborn Ghoul is out. Hellcarver Demon. This guy is a flip of the coin. That's what card he is. He is a flip of the coin. He's a 6/6 flying demon for 6 mana, and then you flip a coin, and the coin says you win on one side, and it also says you lose on the other side, right? So you have to leave it up to fate, and this isn't no, oh, I make my own luck Harvey Dent kind of style fate. This is, he deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice every permanent you control other than Hellcarver Demon, land, artifacts, Liliana Shades, then discard your entire hand, then exile the top 6 cards of your library. You can pay any of those 6 cards off the top of your library for free without paying their mana cost. Now, bear in mind, you've at least got rid of 6 permanents to play this guy. Minimum. Plus whatever's in your hand. So either way, you're not making a profit from hitting him with Hellcarver Demon, because you're bound to have less permanents on the field after him hitting than you did with him hitting. Okay, so there's that. You're always making a loss. Second of all, if you don't get something good, you're now, and you might as well be done for the entire game. Unless you can kill them with Hellcarver Demon from then on. I mean, if you had Trample, it'd be much better, because otherwise you might just get chumped for the entire game. But you might as well be done, because unless you can kill him with Hellcarver for the rest of the game, that's it, it's over. The way I would run him, if I ran him at all, I would run so creature heavy, it would be stupid, right? That's what it would be. And there are a couple of cards you can't even run with him. You can't run Reaver Demon with him, you can't run Phage with him. I mean, the reason why you don't want to run Reaver Demon is because you don't get its secondary ability, which is why you pay 8 in the first place. I mean, in this case you are paying 0 for a 6/6 fly, which I guess maybe you would, but you won't play Phage because you'd lose the game, straight out. And you wouldn't have run Nightmare, because you drop Nightmare and you might only have 1 swamp on the field. You might have 0 and it just dies. It's a flip of the coin, and I don't like cards where I can flip a coin and go, well fuck, I'm out. That's it, game. I was depending on this guy hitting and me winning, but nope. If that was Nightmare, I would have swung for 7. I'd still be in a pretty decent position with 7 mana open, you know? It's pretty silly. Speaking of which, there's a foil one of Nightmare, it's in the main deck. It's pretty nice. Public Execution, good card against some decks. 6 cost kill spell against others. In fact, no, 6 cost kill spell against all the decks. 6 card effective kill spell against some. That's what I'm going to say. That's all I've got to say about it. I'd rather not. Phased Untouchable is really good. I was running it until about an hour ago, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I change my decks all the time. She was good. I took it out in favour of another card. That's all. That's all I did. She gets in. I mean, if she hits the opponent once, you win. There you go. That's it. Game over. GG, well played, you know. All that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm actually thinking about the deck build at the moment, and I kind of want to change it while doing the deck guide. Is that bad? Is that really bad? Because I want to put the 2 Rise from the Graves and the Maya's Toil in, and have a little fun. But oh, this is really irritating me now, because I kind of just want to stop the recording, change the deck around, and do it again. But then I've been sat here 20 minutes for no reason. All that funny humour, and now I'm saying this, so I've basically ruined the commentary anyway. You know, because you guys at home, if I haven't changed this by now, you'd be like, but what did he want to do? What did he want to do? He clearly thinks it's better than this, and I go, I don't, because I like this build. What would I change? I could change those 2 out and then put those 2 in. I could do this very subtly. I just put 2 cards in and take 2 cards out. But then my mana cost goes fucking fucked. I might do it. Fuck you. I'll get to it. Okay, so I found my way around it. Okay. Avatar of Woe. This card's really good. The women in the background clearly have olives for knees, or like thigh to knee. It's like an olive. If there's 10 more creature cards in total of all graveyards, it costs 6 less to cast, which means it costs 2 if you cannot count. It has Fear, which is really good. It means it can't be blocked other than black creatures and artifact creatures. So it's same as Intimidate. Destroy type creature, it can't be regenerated, and that's really good. It's really great mana cost. Really great into a giant yet again. Definitely run into a giant. Does she have 3 arms? What? I don't know what's wrong with her like second arm. The one on the right. My left, sorry, her right. We're looking left, yeah, obviously. Anyway, I'm going to stop staring at that now. Grizzlebrand. Don't stare at this guy's arms either. 8 cost, 7/7, draw 7 cards, and pay 7 life if you want to. Flying Lifelink. Really great card. Yet again, he just costs too much. Same with Pestilence Demon. Really great card. Costs too much. I'll talk about it though. Flying 7/6. Deals 1 damage to each creature and each player every time you pay 1 mana, which is really good. Reaver Demon. Whenever you cast this from your hand, Yep, it destroys all non-artifact, non-black creatures. They can't be regenerated. Other than that, it's a 6/6 flying demon for 8. So it's pretty good. They put a foil 1 in there if you want to rock the foil. And Plague Wind is destroy a creature you don't control. They cannot be regenerated for 9 mana. So quickly, what I was on about putting different cards in. One of them was Maya's Toil, obviously, because I see a card in my deck already that I am running and has been really effective for me. That would go well with Rise from the Graves, and maybe I could do a little bit with something else, you know. I'd have to run Avatar of Woe and similar cards, but you know, maybe at a different point. If I was to run double Rise from the Grave, I would take out Icy Manipulators. And for Maya's Toil, I'd probably take out No, I'd have to keep Diabolic Tutor in. I don't know what I'd take out for Maya's Toil. That's what I was thinking about. The reason is because you can run a little bit of a nice Rise from the Grave, and whatever that 6 cost card that I have in this deck is, that completely wrecks everybody's day whenever you play it. It's not even a creature, so it's a really great control card. Crippling Blight. So this is one of my favourite black cards at the moment. It is just really useful in this deck in so many ways, and people don't realise it because they stop reading when they get to 1 point. Okay, so I'll read the card, and you'll probably get why they stop reading. They go, Crippling Blight, 1 mana, okay. Enchantment Aura, okay, whatever. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1. That's where they stop. They don't go any further. Now there are 3 more words after that, okay, and those 3 more words are the most they're the best, so valuable, those 3 words, and can't block, okay? That wrecks so many cards. It's so good. I don't even care about the -1/-1. Creature can't block. There you go. It just wrecked half of that creature's ability. I mean, every creature has the ability to attack and block. Well, not every creature, but it's wrecked half of it. I mean, this guy doesn't. But it wrecks it. It wrecks anything with reach. A lot of things with Death Touch, because people like to stay back and block your big bombs with Death Touch. Anything with Vigilance, because it might as well not have Vigilance at all. Anything with Defender. Anything that has prevent all damage dealt to it, and you know why, because they can't block with it, they can't just chump block you forever with it. It's so good. Anything that will stand in your way of your Liliana Shade, my game froze, didn't it? Disconnect from Mixers Live, thanks for fucking my game up while I'm in the fucking cool beans. Am I still uploading? I am still uploading, cool. But it's so good. It's so good. You go, my Liliana Shade turn went down turn 4. He left one creature back to chump blocker. Yeah, it's Death Touch. Crippling Blight, tap 4 mana, swing for 5. Your turn. Oh, what's that? You played Fogbank turn 2, Crippling Blight, GG, well played. Fogbank is like the bane existence of this deck because it flies and prevents all damage to it. You have to use a murder on a 2-cost card. It's not efficient. Now Crippling Blight is like really high efficiency for card. It is so efficient. Like Innocent Blood is another really efficient card. Each player sacrifices a creature. Most of the time, within like most of the time, like up to turn 4 you won't have a creature down. There are times where you will, but most you won't. Innocent Blood, very valuable then. Very valuable late game where you drop some... It's still valuable late game if you're in a pickle, you know? Examine Gate. Now this card's fucking fantastic. I love this card. Each opponent loses X life, you gain life equal to loss this way. It's much better than Two-Headed Giant, but who cares? It still fucking wrecks people late game. It'll win you a game. Almost all the time. As long as the longer you hold on to it, the better it gets as well. Jet Medallion. Black spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast. Good value for card yet again. Nantuko Shade, one of the fucking fantastic card. Gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it costs 2 and is a 2/1, and you can pump it as much as you want. For as much money you've got, obviously. They put a second one in, which makes me happy, in places that I'm not allowed to talk about. Infest gives all creatures -2/2 until end of turn. It wrecks like some of the best decks in the game. Wrecks Peacekeepers, wrecks Goblins, wrecks it wrecks like almost every deck. Life gain gets fucked by it if it's used at the right time. It will fuck a day. I was about to say fuck a duck, but I don't think it will. Murder. Straight. That's a really long sword, by the way. I think that sword's a bit long, but considering how thin it is. But destroy target creature. If you can target it, will die. It can die with murder. That's the moral of the story. If you can target it, and you will target it most of the time, it will die. Hexproof creatures get to laugh at murder, but it doesn't matter because they get to laugh at all kill spells anyway, so murder doesn't need to feel ashamed. Vampire Nighthawk, there is only one. I said Nighthawk really weird, I went Vampire Nighthawk. It sounded weird to me. I'm also wearing headphones, which makes me always sound weird to myself. Flying Death Touch Lifelink, 3 words. Flying really valuable, Death Touch really valuable, Lifelink really valuable. It's a really good art. Good job, Jason Chan. Good job. Mutilate. Who did Mutilate? Luca Zattini. It's not that good a job. Luca Zattini, I'm sorry. Like scarabs out of the Mummy series. Destroy target land or non-black creature can't be regenerated. We ran about this earlier. It's got versatility even in the mirror matchup. And if it's not in the mirror matchup, and it's not against black decks, it can kill creatures whenever you want, or it can land destruction, which is really valuable. Diabolic Tutor promo card, guy with really weird smile. I run these cards in real life because I find them entertaining. Get any card from your deck, put it into your hand for 4 mana. Don't even have to show it to your opponent. That's it. It's done. It's a manipulator. Basically, permanently, as soon as this card's played, it's almost permanently tap down any creature on the field that you feel like it. All land or artifact. There you go. And in some cases, special cases that is, artifacts do get turned off by being tapped, as in non-tapped artifacts. You have to be really careful because some do and some don't. So, I believe Howling Mine did originally say that if it is tapped, it doesn't activate. So Howling Mine, I'm not sure if it works on this, but I think it used to. The medallions don't. If you tap them, they still get the value from the medallions. So always make sure you read up on what you're tapping if you're tapping artifacts. Liliana Shade comes in, grabs you a land, pumps to the roof, smashes, It does a lot of damage. Mutilate kills everything on the field, 4 mana. There you go. Don't be stupid with Mutilate, don't do what I've done. I rose from the grave, Runescar Demon, went and fetched Mutilate because it was the only thing I needed to survive a couple of turns. Mutilated, turn 5 with 5 land out. My guy was 6/6. Then played a land after Mutilate, and it put another counter on my guy, and my guy died. I was not happy. I was not happy. I just quit out the game. I was like angry. I mean, I could have easily won the game, but I was just mad. Phyrexian Obliterator. I said this card, when it comes, it will take the game by storm, and it most certainly has done. There are ways to remove it. I'm not saying it's indestructible, but it is a trample 5/5. Whenever damage is dealt to it, the controller of that damage, or the source's control of that damage, has to sacrifice that many permanents. To kill it with a creature, you have to sacrifice 5 permanents. That's trample. You can't even chump it. It's great. Tendrils of Corruption. Deals X damage to target creature, where X and you gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. Really good. It's instant speed as well. It will get you out of a lot of problems. It's really good. Halo Hunter comes into the battlefield, destroys an angel if there's one around. But if it's Baneslayer, it doesn't, because Baneslayer is protection from demons, which it is. And it has Intimidate. 6/3. 6 power with Intimidate is really good. Corrupt, 6 mana. You hit them up in the face for every swamp that you control, and you gain life that way. So it's like Tendrils of Corruption, but it's for players instead. So it's going to be your win condition most of the time. It's going to win you the game, like Exsanguinate. So you know, Dread is insane. It's such a good card. Matt Kavota, I really like his art in this one. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's really good. Fear, so it's a 6/6 with Fear. Again, we see a lot of Fear, a lot of evasion. Whenever your creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Whenever Dread is put into a graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. So it can't be, you can't use Rise from the Graves on it, unfortunately, but also it can't be body doubled. So there's that to think about. Yeah, Grave Titan, it comes in, 6/6 Death Touch, puts 2/2 black zombie tokens onto the field, and repeats that process every time he attacks. He's value for card because it's 10 power for 6 mana, and then he becomes 14 power for 6 mana when you attack with him, or you attack with 10 and you put 4 to block with. It's pretty good. This guy, yet again, value for mana, 6/5, gives all your opponent's creatures -2/-2. Every time an opponent creature whenever a creature your opponent's control dies, they lose 2 life. So every time it goes from the battlefield to the graveyard, they lose 2 life. So it comes in and it infests their side, and they lose 2 life every time something dies. It's pretty good. Nightmare, shiny. It's the power of swamps, so it can't be mind controlled. It can't be stolen in any way, shape, or form, except by Rise from the Grave from the opposite black deck. That is like the only way. But blue does not like it. Not only that, it flies. It will attack for 7 the first time it attacks. Most of the time. Okay, it's really, really good card. This card, I'm not sure if people probably don't run it. I do, because it's really good. So, there you go. Take my word for it. Nightmare Incursion. 6 mana, which costs so much. But then I realised, you know what else is 6 mana that I'm not running? Public Execution is so much better than Public Execution. Target player's library for up to X cards, where X is the number of swamps you control. Okay, so I'm going to reread it in my way. Search target player's library for up to X cards, which would win them the game if they got them, where X is the number of swamps you control, then exile them. Okay. Then that player shuffles his own library. Actually, I haven't read that card properly. I always forget about the exile. So the thing I said about Rise from the Grave, you can ignore it, because I thought I would use it for Nightmare Incursion, but it says exile anyway. I'm sure someone's already put that down in the comments. Yeah, probably. Search target player's library for up to X cards. Yeah, so basically it's playing against Mill, let's say. Okay, what cards could win him the game here? So if he drew a Traumatize, we'll go get rid of that one. If he drew this card, we'll get rid of that one. This card, you have to be quick though, because there is the fucking time meter. Otherwise he'll pick 6 of what the AI thinks are the best cards to pick. You have to remember that. It doesn't pick 6 random, thank God. it picks what the AI thinks is the best. So what an AI would pick in that situation. I don't know what level AI, it's probably not Planeswalker, it's probably fucking easy. Zephyr Gorgon is a 6-cost control card, 3/6 Death Touch, so it can sit there and block all day because 6 toughness is really, really good. It doesn't bring that much power to the board, which is unfortunate. You pay 3 mana and tap it. It puts a petrification counter on target creature. I believe this is the only creature to use petrification counters, I'm almost certain. I probably am wrong though, they might have used them back in the day. The creature gains Defender, becomes a colorless artifact in addition to its other types, and its activated abilities can't be activated, so it's really good. It's not a legend, so you want to make sure that your Zephyr Gorgon gets their Zephyr Gorgon before they get yours, obviously. And yeah, it just can sit there and wall. It doesn't bring much power to the board, like it doesn't attack for much, but it can stop them from attacking for a lot. But you also need to be careful because it turns them into artifacts, and remember, cards with fear can be blocked by artifacts. So if they couldn't block in the first place, then you might as well just attack on in and then use it. Okay, so there's that. Runescar Demon. Whenever Runescar Demon enters the battlefield, search your library for a win condition, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. I know that's not exactly what it says, but it's what it says in my mind because I love Runescar Demon. I have 2 that I run in almost every black deck I play because why would I not? I mean, it's search your library for a card that will win you the game, or put you in a place to win you the game, or a card that you exactly need. I mean, Infest is a great card to draw with this. Or was a great card to draw, and now it's just Massacre Worm instead of Infest. You go draw Grave Titan, you go draw Corrupt most of the time. Tendrils of Corruption is also another option. Phyrexian Obliterate, it gives you any card in the game. What else does that? Oh yeah, Diabolic Tutor, which is yet again another good card. I mean, Diabolic Tutor, I end up fetching Phyrexian Obliterator, so I basically treat it as this is a second Phyrexian Obliterator that costs 5 mana when I play it turn 4. And if I have it late game, then it turns into a Corrupt. Or a Grave Titan, you know? It's one of those. But this is the way I run it, I really like it. There are a couple of things you can switch in and switch out. If I were going to switch in a couple of cards right now, I'd put in maybe a Liliana Shade. The Maya's Toil as well, yet again, another good card. Fume Spitters, maybe. Probably not though. And a couple of these big bombs at the end, you know. Maybe the Avatar of Woe, especially in multiplayer. Avatar of Woe becomes stupid nuts. Grizzlebrand, these kind of cards you can swap in and swap out. This is the way I'm running, very control-y, as you can see. There's a lot of kill spells. There's a lot of bombs. That's what you want to do. You want to stall out to your bombs, or win by smashing them in the face with a Liliana Shade. There you go. Hope you guys took something from this. Sorry for kind of like halfway through the video going, oh my god, I kind of want to change the deck and all that. I really like changing decks quite a lot. I like pissing about with changing them to make them like really different. As for another Dream Puppets, like a different type of Dream Puppets, I think I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I think I like the draw version. Draw version is by far the best, and I haven't figured out another way to run it yet. I know Daisho runs it differently, so you can go check that out if you want. I don't know if he's going to stick with it though, but there you go. Yeah, that's the deck. It's got a huge improvement thanks to the promo cards. They've probably got the best promo cards in the format, I'm going to say. I mean, fucking Massacre Worm's great, Dread's great, Grave Titan's great, Phyrexian Obliterate is stupid, nuts, insane, Diabolic Tutor's good. It's, yeah, but you need to just remember the crux of the deck is for you to stop them from killing you, and you playing one of these and winning the game. So, Nightmare Incursion, I know people won't like it as much and will think it's stupid when first looking at it. It stops your opponent from winning. Straight out. Any bombs that they could possibly have, stops. That's it. That's your answer. And you know what your answer is? 6 answers for 1 card. Not, wait for it, I want to fuck over public execution while I'm here, because I really don't. I don't like it that much. Not 1 answer for 6 cost, and maybe a couple of others, depending on what your opponent's playing. But 6 that aren't on the field already. 6 that he could draw off the top, because they always do, and you know it. That could fuck your day up so horrendously. Yeah, it's just not cool. Anyway, I want you guys to suggest what deck you want to see next. Just as a heads up, I know I don't play Celestial Light. I won't do videos on Celestial Light. So if you want to see a deck list Celestial Light, I'm probably not your man for it, to be honest. I'm probably just going to skip it out, because I can't give a deck list without experience of playing the card. And if I hate playing the decks and the cards in there, then I'm not going to do it. Crosswinds I haven't finished with. Exalted I think I have. Ancient Wilds I have a 2 decks list for Ancient Wilds. But Born of Flame, Pack Instincts, basically every other deck other than Crosswinds and Celestial Light should be good. My Pack Instincts is a little bit different to everyone else runs it, which is pretty good. I really like it, but I know nobody else will fucking run it same as me, which is probably why I really like him, a bit hipster when it comes to these decks. Nightmare Incursion obviously being that, since I've never seen that card played other than by me, so there you go. Leave your opinions down below. I'll have a look at them. If there is a card that everybody's like, oh my god, run this card, I might run it for a bit. So we'll roll with it. I mean, Avatar of Woe is probably one of those cards. Maya's Toil, you know, those kind of things. So I think that's all I've got to say. Other than, if you like the video, show some support and love by hitting the up button, the thumbs up button, the like rating. If you didn't like the video, you can leave a rating in the other way and leave a comment saying what you hated. And if you really hate me, then you can throw some abuse if you want. I mean, we need some more trolls. Everyone's too nice in this channel. That's a joke, obviously, because we don't need trolls. Fuck them. I've been trolled most of my life, but anyway. 41 minutes. There you go. Deck list done. Mission complete. Obedient Dead. We'll move on from Obedient Dead now. I don't have to play this deck ever again, even though I will, because it's fun. I'm just droning and droning. It's like playing Zerg all over again. I'll see you guys later. My channel links is in the description. Bye.